Deep underground in an undisclosed location, this is Tread Comics presents the Buck Rogers 1939 serial. Buck Rogers is a 1939 science fiction film serial produced by Universal Pictures. It stars Buster Crabbe, who had previously played the title character in two Flash Gordon serials and would return for a third in 1940 as our hero. Constance Moore, Jackie Moran, and Anthony Warde would round out the cast. It is based on the Buck Rogers character created by Philip Francis Nowland, who had appeared in magazines and comic strips since 1928. In 1938, Lieutenant Buck Rogers, played by Buster Crabbe, and Buddy Wade, played by Jackie Moran, are part of a crew flying over the North Pole. They are caught in a savage storm and crash. They are ordered to release the experimental Nirvano Gas, which, unbeknownst to them, will put them in suspended animation until they are rescued. The Nirvano Gas works, but their ship is buried in an avalanche and is not found until 500 years have passed. When Buck and Buddy are found, they awaken in the year 2440 to a world ruled by the ruthless dictator Killer Kane, played by Anthony Warde, and his army of super-racketeers. Only those who live in the hidden city, run by the benevolent scientist Dr. Huer, played by C. Montague Shaw, and his military counterpart, Air Marshal Kragg, played by William Gould, resist the criminal rulers of Earth. Buck and Buddy join the resistance. They volunteer to go to Saturn, where they hope that they can find help in their fight against Killer Kane. Wilma Deering, played by the beautiful Constance Moore, is assigned to accompany them. Saturn is run by Aldar, played by Guy Usher, and the Council of the Wise, and Prince Talon. To the dismay of Buck and Buddy, they also discover that Killer Kane has dispatched ambassadors of his own, headed by his loyal henchman, Captain Laska, played by Henry Brandon. The series then becomes a back-and-forth struggle between Buck and Kane to secure the military support of Saturn. This 12-part Buck Rogers movie serial was launched in 1939. It starred Buster Crabbe, who had played the role of Flash Gordon in the serials Flash Gordon and Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars prior to Buck Rogers. Constance Moore played Lieutenant Wilma Deering, the only woman in the film, and Jackie Moran was Buddy Wade, a character who did not appear in any other versions of the Buck Rogers franchise, but who is clearly modeled on the Sunday strip character Buddy Deering. Anthony Warde played Killer Kane, Buck Rogers' enemy. This was the only time that Warde, who usually portrayed evil underlings in serials, played an evil villain lead. Korean actor Philip An, younger brother of noted actor Philip An, played Prince Talon, a Saturnian native who befriends Buck Rogers. Noted actor and the crown prince of stuntmen, David Sharp, who appeared in over 4,500 films over the course of a 7-decade career, also appeared in the Buck Rogers serial in several roles. One as Kane's pilot, a hidden city sentry, and a Centurion lieutenant. The serial had a small budget and saved money on special effects by reusing materials from other stories. Background shots from the futuristic musical Just Imagine, which was released in 1930, as well as the City of the Future, the garnishly stenciled wall from Azura's Palace set in Flash Gordon's trip to Mars, and even the studded leather belt that Crabbe wore in Flash Gordon's trip to Mars turned up as part of Buck Rogers' uniform. In 1953, the 1939 movie serial was edited into a feature film entitled Planet Outlaws by Sherman Kessberg for release via Goodwill Pictures Incorporated. Then it was edited once again to feature length entitled Destination Saturn for syndication to television in 1965. Finally, the serial was edited once again into a feature film format in the late 1970s. This version, simply entitled Buck Rogers, with the theatrical poster advertising Star Wars owes it all to Buck Rogers, and which was later sold on videotape in the early 1990s by VCI Entertainment under their catalog picture title of Planet Outlaws, which title, to make it appear more legitimate, was also superimposed onto the first shot of film following the main titles. The original Planet Outlaws and also Destination Saturn have both been available in video format since the early 1980s, and as early as 1970s were both available for user purchase in 16mm film format from Thunderbird Pictures. VCI released all 12 installments on DVD in September of 2000, and in November of 2009, VCI released a special 70th anniversary edition on DVD, with extras including The History of Buck Rogers by Clifford Laughing Gravy Weemer, a photo gallery, and the 1935 Buck Rogers short feature originally shown at the 1933-1934 World's Fair.
And now, without further ado, Tread Comics is proud to present the Buck Rogers 1939 serial, Chapter 1, Tomorrow's World.
Westmore Observatory, calling dirigible Chandro. Westmore Observatory, calling dirigible Chandro.
Not scared, are you, buddy?
Well, I guess I was a little scared before you got above that blizzard.
Keep a secret?
Yes, sir.
So was I.
Well, I'm still scared. What for? We're up so high we can hardly breathe, and we're about to run out of oxygen.
Westmore Observatory, calling dirigible Chandro.
Flying too low now. Think on any more ice and snow,
calling dirigible Chandro. Westmore Observatory, calling dirigible Chandro.
Good, they finally found us. Braden, take the controls. Dirigible Chandro answering. Go ahead, Westmore.
I've contacted Miss Buck's voice.
Hello, Chandro. Is that Lieutenant Rogers speaking?
Buck Rogers to you, Professor.
Hello, Dad. We're having a swell time.
Are you all right, Buck? Where are you?
Okay so far, sir. Still riding above the blizzard.
What's your exact position?
Can't say. Within about 300 miles, sir, on account of drift.
Holding about 40,000 feet elevation. Have to stay here until we ride out the storm area. Think we can do it.
Breathing is getting hard. Running low on oxygen, sir.
I'm going to drop down a couple of thousand feet. I've got to have air.
Throw out ballast. We're losing altitude.
We're going to Oregon. Breathe.
Are you fool? We're loading down with ice. Maybe too late now to lift this weight.
No, Professor. We've dropped down into the storm. Buck's trying to climb out, but he can't make it.
What are you going to do? Bail up before we crash! Stop him, Mitchell. He'll freeze to death before he lands.
It's better than dying in here like rats.
Do you think there's any chance for them, Professor?
I'm afraid they're likely to crash, but there is one chance. Hello, buddy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Then listen carefully. Do you remember that tank of Nirvano gas I put aboard just before you took off?
Yes, sir, I do.
If you're forced down, will you promise me to turn the lever on that tank as far to the right as you can, buddy?
Yes, sir, I will.
I don't get it. What is Nirvano gas?
It's a recent discovery of the professor's. A gas that induces suspended animation.
Suspended animation? Well, that's a lot of hokum, isn't it? Like perpetual motion and...
Show it.
You see that dog? He's been in there nearly 3 months.
Huh. What's strange about that? He's dead, isn't he?
He's neither dead nor alive for the time being.
What do you expect the dog to do? Come to life?
Here, feel of his heart.
Why, it's starting to beat.
I put a tank of that gas aboard the Chandro as a precautionary measure. If they were forced down in some inaccessible spot, I hoped it would sustain their lives until relief ships could rescue them.
Professor!
What is it, buddy?
Buck says we're gonna crash.
Goodbye, Dad.
Ask Buck for his approximate latitude and longitude.
Buck, Professor Morgan wants to know your approximate latitude.
What's happened? Hello, Chandro.
Hurt bad, buddy? Oh, not much. Hello. Chandro just crashed.
Give me your latitude and longitude, and turn on the Nirvano gas.
Gas is turned on, sir. Latitude about 70 north, sir. Longitude.
You were right, Lacey. It's the remains of some ancient type of spaceship.
Wonder why we never saw it before. I've flown over this place 100 times.
It's probably covered with ice most of the year. Let's take a closer look. We'll use our disintegrator pistols.
Like some sort of gas.
Certainly is an antique. They're in a perfect state of preservation. Must have been frozen since the ship crashed. That's strange. Body's almost natural temperature.
Let's get them out of here. This gas is making me drowsy.
Well, take hold of his feet. Why, he's alive.
Sure I'm alive. What's wrong with you?
Funny-looking uniform.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy, step out of it. He's all right. Professor Morgan's gas sure did the trick. How long have you been looking for us?
Why we weren't looking for you?
Well, that doesn't make any difference. You found us anyway.
I think we'd better take him to Professor Huer. Our patrol ship is beyond that point of rocks.
Now wait a minute.
March.
Ship's at least 100 years ahead of anything I ever saw.
I wonder how fast we're going.
About 1,000 miles an hour at least. Polar Patrol, calling Operations Office. Polar Patrol, calling Operations Office.
Operations Office. Go ahead, Polar Patrol.
Golly, they sure dialed in quick. Put this call through to Scientist General Huer. It is urgent.
One moment. Go ahead.
Captain Rankin speaking. We're approaching the city with 2 prisoners found in a dirigible.
A dirigible? That's impossible. Such ships haven't been used since the 20th century.
20th century? What does he mean?
I don't know.
The ship was frozen in the tip of Bering Glacier. Prisoners were in a state of suspended animation when we found them.
Bring them directly to me when you land. That is all.
Buck, we're gonna crack up.
No, look, buddy.
Scientist General suspects her.
You're to come directly to his headquarters.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Come along, men. Come on.
Professor Huer.
So what kind of an elevator is that, anyway?
By radioactivity, it breaks down the atoms of the body to their component parts, and reversing polarity reassembles them wherever desired.
Take my place, Lieutenant Deering. Follow our spaceship through the televi. How did you come to be in that dirigible?
I was in command. We'd taken off from New York and were making a transpolar flight around the world when...
What year was that?
1938.
1938? Impossible. Let me verify that. (1938). There was such an expedition. Your name, please.
Buck Rogers. Lieutenant Rogers officially.
And yours, my boy?
My name is George Wade, but I'm usually called Buddy.
Nirvano Gas. That explains it then. Rankin, we are witnesses to a scientific miracle. By means of a gas discovered by Professor Morgan, these two people have remained in a state of suspended animation for 500 years.
500 years?
That makes me old enough to be my own great-grandfather.
But, Professor Huer, that's impossible, sir.
Dr. Huer, Killer Kane has captured another of our pilots.
You may save yourself considerable discomfort by telling me where to find the entrance to the hidden city.
I do not remember.
I think I know a way to make you remember. Look into that instrument. Look into it. Those men were once pilots of Dr. Huer's ships. Now they are living robots. Men robbed of all willpower while they wear the helmets I had designed for them. Shall I have you measured for a robot's helmet? Or will you tell me where the entrance to the hidden city is?
I do not remember.
Take him away.
I don't understand, sir. Who is this man called Killer Kane?
He is the result of the stupidity of the men of your century. You failed to stamp out lawlessness, and in the end, the criminal became stronger than the law. Racketeers, you call them. Today, they rule the world as cruelly as they ruled their gangs in your day.
Well, isn't there any chance of help from an outside source?
Only from men on some other planet.
Another planet? Well, that doesn't sound very hopeful.
It could be, but our spaceships seem unable to slip through Kane's air blockade. We've lost 5 thus far trying it.
You mean you actually have ships that can travel from planet to planet?
Of course.
If you have ships that can travel that far, you know, I think I know a way of running that blockade.
Well, if you have any plans, I'm ready to listen to them. But to me, it seems much hopeless.
Am I right, Marshal Kragg, in assuming that you can operate a plane from the ground at such a distance, mind you, by means of radio?
That's correct, Rogers.
Well, then, sir, why don't you send up such a ship as a decoy? While Kane's patrol is following it, I can slip through in a spaceship and get help from Saturn.
We've already lost too many ships and crews. We can't afford to try it.
It seems to me you can't afford not to try it, sir.
Rogers is right, Marshal. Unless we get help from Saturn, our cause is lost.
Very well, sir. You're in charge.
Thank you very much.
Lieutenant Deering, you will go with Rogers to establish a means of communication with Saturn, if you do get through to that planet.
Another one of their spaceships.
Patrol ship 7-4 calling 60,000-foot patrol.
Shall I lay our course directly for Saturn now, Buck?
May as well.
Hey, Buck, look.
They fell for it, all right.
How can they fly that spaceship with no one in it?
We can direct all the aircraft from the control room until they reach the outer atmosphere.
Don't think we'll run into any more trouble. Why don't you take a nap, Wilma? I'll take the controls.
Thanks very much.
Hey, Buck, what's that up ahead? Looks like a gray wall.
That's the outer atmosphere of Saturn, buddy. It's 10 times denser than the air around the Earth.
What was that?
I don't know.
Look, it's two of Killer Kane's ships coming up fast behind us.
Retard your speed to 1/2.
If we do, they'll get away from us.
Don't worry about that. They'll either have to slow down or go up in smoke.
Retarding rockets. If we enter that atmosphere at this rate of speed, the friction will burn us to a crisp. Look, they smashed some rockets. I can't fire them. Help me open the release valves in the oxygen tanks. If they explode, we'll be blown to atoms.
Buddy, take the controls.
The portholes are giving way, Buck.
That's no use. The heat has melted the valve heads. Move, buddy.